Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen. This is the return of the Get Some podcast. A lot of you have been asking, when am I going to start doing it again? And through things out of my control, I was revamping the podcast to make it bigger and better and to have guests. And a couple things happened that was completely out of my control. The first thing, I was supposed to get started late January. Kobe Bryant passed away, which took all the engineers that was working on this out to cover that. And then we was getting ready to start up again, and I end up booking a film that I was filming in Oklahoma City, which is going to take me out of half of February and most of March. And then the coronavirus hit. So through all that, here we are, mid-April, and I'm finally getting the podcast back up and running. We're doing it remotely from my house because I'm abiding by this social distancing through the lawmakers. And I thought about who I want as my first guest for the return. And this guy was my third choice. I went with Eminem, didn't get a response back. I went with Barack Obama, didn't even get close. But this guy said yes. And it made me, listen, when I asked this guy to do it, I said, if he says no, that's really going to tell me how he feels about me. Because I was like, what are you doing? It bothers me that we're in this state of social distancing, stay at home, and people don't answer the phone. That really gets on my nerves. That's my pet peeve. Like, what are you doing? And then if you don't call me back, that really tells me where I stand. But this guy called me back and said he'd do it. He's worked with some of the biggest stars in Hollywood. He's one of the biggest stars in Hollywood in my eyes. And my eyes are all that matters during this podcast. I've done 2 films with him, went on vacation with him once to Hawaii. We did an episode of Wife Swap that's never gonna air. He is the ultimate light-skinned, green eye / blue eye, depending on what he's wearing, bandit, Washington Redskin diehard fan, Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia's own Michael Ealy is my first guest on the Get Some podcast for the return.
What's up, baby? I'm number 3, huh?
Number 3. Sorry, man.
Number 3.
I didn't want to lie, though. You know what I mean?
That was a good list, though.
It was. I aimed high.
That was a good list, man. I think if you're gonna come behind anybody, the 44th president is that's
Not a
nothing to
bad
snooze
one.
at. No, it's not. I'm not mad at that.
Well, and it's so fitting that you're my first guest because I'm a diehard Cincinnati Bengals fan. You're a diehard Redskins fans. Who's got the first 2 picks?
I think we got him, right?
Bengals got 1 and Redskins got 2.
Okay, got it. Okay, yeah. And we bet money on who was gonna get number 1, right?
We bet dinner, which you still owe me.
Oh, right.
You still owe me. Yeah.
Okay, well, when this whole thing is over with, I promise you, we'll hit up Sizzler or something.
Says 10 to greens. Let's go a little healthy.
Let's go a little bit healthy. Yeah.
Now, I met Mike when 2011. 2011 on Think Like a Man was the first time we met. And I think the table read was the first time we ever really met.
Was it really?
I think so. I don't think I...
Probably, yeah, probably.
Like, I knew of your work, but I didn't know you personally.
Right. Yes, but not really.
What does that mean? You didn't have cable, or...?
It meant that, like, I knew who you were, but I didn't know... Like, I hadn't seen as much of you as you may have liked.
Oh, thanks, Mike. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. That's the kind of guy I am.
Now I just want to ask, how did you get the part in Think Like a Man? Did Will just call you, Will Packer?
No. I aimed higher than that. I slept with all the right people.
Oh,
and that's pretty much what got me to roll. Will called me because we had done Takers, and he called me about this one. And then I was on a plane. I don't remember where I was going, but I was on a plane. And I said, yeah, I'll read it right now. I'm jumping on the plane. Send it. And so he did. And by the time I got off the plane, I think I called him right back and was like, dude, I'm in love with this Dom character. I'm all in. So that was one of the easiest movies to say yes to.
Huh.
I read the whole script. Yep.
I don't do that. if I get offered a part, I go straight to my parts, and then I work backwards.
Well, Gary, I mean, and listen, the problem with that is that sometimes when you see the whole movie, you realize, oh, maybe I should have read the script.
No, I read it. I just don't read it right away. Like,
Okay.
I go straight to my character's parts, and then I read the whole script afterwards.
Well,
And
what
maybe-
I would say to that is everybody has a different approach, right? As an actor, I'm going to need context for what I'm doing, right? So context is provided by what other characters are doing and how they interact with me. So I'm not quite sure how you got away with that. Is that how you got to think like a man?
I did. Will offered me the part. Like, literally, I was at lunch at Hugo's in the Valley, and I get a phone call from Will out of left field and said, hey, I got this movie, but I got this white guy, but I wanted to hang out with black people, but not act black or try to be too down. And I was like, okay. And originally, Will wanted me for Jerry Ferrera's part. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, no.
Will was bringing me in like, I'm going to bring you in for, Gabrielle's love interest. And I go, okay. So I read it. And then he goes, but, we got offers out and we got to see how it works out. And then it just ended up, and I think that's how the stars align, that I end up getting Bennett. And, but originally, Will called me for Jerry's part.
Wow.
And then the powers that be. And I think that was a good one. That would have changed the whole movie. If I was playing.
You nailed Bennett. And I think what people, because I just happened to catch it the other day. It was re-airing on some channel, I can't remember. And I just happened to catch it. And it was a scene where we were in the restaurant talking. And you got into it. Watching you and Kev go back and forth was just priceless. And you and I were sitting next to each other in that scene. And I'll never forget how sweaty you got, one. And then two.
Watch this. Get me sweating just thinking about it.
You got so sweaty in that movie. But I think Like a Man 2 is where you really got busy. Because you just let it all go and Think Like a Man 2. You was like, and all that stuff was funny and it all made the movie.
Well, it's funny. You're always next to me when I was going to the director, Tim Story, and asking him to ad-lib something. It seemed like you were, and I'd always kind of look out the side of my eye, like, if Mike shakes his head no, then I know I'm way off base. But if you kind of give me a look, because honestly, I always went to you and Romney. Think Like a Man, because Kev's doing his thing and being funny, and Jerry is doing his thing, but and we'll get into Terrence J in a minute, but there's a lot of ad-lib behind the scenes stuff about Terrence J that people should know about. But you and Romney were like the guys that like you said, you knew the script, you knew what scene we were coming out of, where we were going. So I always knew I could just ask you, hey, what's the next scene after this? Because I don't even know where we're going with this.
But that was I remember those conversations very well. You're like, hey man, if I try this, you think it'll work? And I remember like this. Yeah, it would. Yeah. Or no, it won't, because in the next scene, you might have a problem. So I wouldn't try that. It'd be a waste of time.
I didn't look at it like I was a main character. I always looked at it like it was just a bunch of day players. I had a bunch of day scenes. Like, oh, it's the same movie. I'm day playing again. Right. But I always went, honestly, I always went to you or Romney were my sounding boards to find out if I was going too far or like I said, you guys I'm a comedian.
Yeah.
So for me to be in a movie with actors, like I'm using the actors as crutches, like they know what's going on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But Gary, here's the thing, man. Like, to me, having worked with comedians in certain films, a lot of what Cedric did in Barbershop was ad-libbed. A lot of what, Kev did, what you guys did, what Eddie Murphy did in his heyday, when he became like the king. A lot of that was ad-libbed. And so, to me, as an actor, you have to learn how to work with comedians in terms of ad-libbing. And you got to be able, I'll be honest with you, I feel like we got to try and keep up with you guys. Because you guys are kind of unstoppable in a lot of ways. And fearless actors have certain actors have a certain amount of fear when it comes to ad-libbing. You guys are pretty fearless. So, I'm always down to see where it goes. And if, obviously you can cut it out if it's just too outrageous or it just doesn't make any sense.
So, Mike, we're from the same era. We're from the same age group. We're both mid 40s.
Yes.
Now, you grew up in Maryland? Right. Was this always the plan to be an actor?
No.
Like if you go back to like 11th grade Michael Ealy.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are you going to do with and teacher's career day? What are you going to do with the rest of your life? Are you saying actor?
Architect.
For real?
Architect.
And how do you go from I want to be an architect to getting into acting?
Well, I wanted to be an architect from the 8th grade up until I pretty much got into my freshman year of college. So my desire to be an architect stemmed from a love of drafting and, I took a drafting course in 8th grade and I just kind of fell in love with it. Then I started doing research on people like Frank Lloyd Wright and Paul Williams and so forth and so on. And I just fell in love with with architecture. And it wasn't until I got to my senior year of high school, and I was actually, a couple of things happened. I was participating in architectural competitions, statewide competitions in Maryland, and at the same time, I was really bad at math. And so what you learn when you start applying to colleges is you start seeing the curriculum for architecture. And what I saw was so much math. And at the time, I was a high school senior, and I was in trigonometry. And when I tell you I was struggling in trigonometry, it might have been one of the most difficult classes I had throughout my entire, elementary, middle school, and high school years. Like trigonometry just kind of kicked my ass. So I had to really kind of reevaluate what my plan was, because what you learned from architectural curriculums was that it required a lot of math and science, a lot of physics and a lot of science and a lot of math. And I was struggling with trigonometry. And then in my architecture classes, we were doing beam analysis and truss analysis, and that required trigonometry. And I was just like, oh gosh, it was just such a rude awakening for me. But I basically, I kind of gave up on going to Syracuse or Virginia Tech for architecture. And I went into University of Maryland undecided. And the first 2 years, I was just kind of like, I was just a college kid trying to figure out what to do. And then when I found acting after my second year of college, having almost been dismissed from the university.
For grades?
Oh man, academic probation. That was so bad. I was so not focused. And then basically I discovered acting in the summer after my sophomore year, and I was never in any kind of academic jeopardy after that. And I wrapped up school and went to New York.
And then you were waiting tables?
I started out bussing tables. I couldn't even take your order my first couple months. I had to fill up your water glass. I had to clean up your plates. I was doing that at first. Yeah, I had to work my way up to a waiter.
Now, it's not cheap to live in New York. Did you have a roommate?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
where's he or she at?
Well, you ever met my man Seeth?
I don't think so.
So Seeth, man, we moved to New York together. He graduated NYU Film School. So when we both left and moved to New York, he started NYU Film School in their graduate program. And I started, pounding the pavement and trying to find acting schools in New York. And so, but he's he's, he just had a show on Netflix called Raising Dion. He had a show on VH1. Yeah. So he's killing it right now. He's killing it.
He
right
directed
now.
that?
Yeah, he was an executive producer and showrunner on that one.
Oh, nice. It's crazy when you look back, and you're in the acting world, and I'm more in the stand-up world, of all the people you've come in contact with over the years. Yeah. And, a lot of times fans will focus on the ones that have made it. And a lot of times, I know comedians, a lot of times we can get frustrated if you're not where you think you should be at in your career. And you start thinking about the people that are, quote unquote, bigger than you. Right. But then you got to stop yourself and be like, hold on. What happened to the other 200 comics that I used to open mic with all the time?
Yeah.
Like, what happened to them? Are they still chasing the dream, or did they give up and move on to a different career? That's what's always interesting with in actors. Because I'm sure you was doing plays and everything else, right?
Dude, I was doing plays. I was doing, what are those things called? Industrial commercials. Do you remember those?
What's that?
So that's like when you do like an in-house commercial for a corporation. And it's like, it actually pays you really well. But you do like, in-house corporation, like when they have their like big conferences and stuff, and they watch, back then they were watching all this stuff, this in-house produced commercials and stuff.
You talking about they're pulling down the big screen and putting the projector up?
Yeah, and they're like, they're like, they rent out those big convention centers, and then they like big companies. Like think of who was Google back then, IBM, right? So it'd be like companies like that, and so I was doing those. I did a little bit of commercial print modeling, which was hilarious. I think I booked about 2 jobs over 4 years. I did a little bit of everything, man.
And then your first movie was what, 2001? Was that Kissing Jessica Stein? Was that your first role?
No, my first role was probably a movie that I don't even remember the title to.
I love that movie. Don't remember the title to.
I know. It's
no, that's the name of the movie.
Ashley Judd, Greg Kinnear, and Hugh Jackman.
Whoa, what year was that?
Right. Like 99, maybe?
Wow.
Yeah, 99, 99 or something like that. But like, my first real role that I was like really like, oh, I done made it, was Law and Order.
For real? You was a regular or you was a guest?
No, I was a guest star. I was a guest star. I waited in the honey wagon for 14 hours and shot for one.
What was your part?
I was a police computer analyst. And so Jerry and Jesse were the cops at that time, and they
Jerry Orbach,
Orbach, who had a great singing voice, by the way. Rest in peace, Jerry Orbach. And Jesse, who also had a great singing voice. And those dudes, they were just total professionals. They showed up, said their stuff, rolled out. And I learned a lot from that first experience, but I felt like a certified New York actor because everybody went through Law and Order that came out of New York.
Everybody. You watch Law and Order to this day and watch reruns, and you'll see people that you did not.
Huge movie stars.
I remember watching an episode one time. I saw Chelsea Handler for one episode. She was testifying. She played a rape victim or something. I go, is that Chelsea Handler?
Yeah. Everybody went through there. And once you got it, you were like, okay, I'm in.
But were you in? Like, how long was it till you got the next job?
I was not in. I went back to waiting tables that night. I didn't make quite enough money to, quit everything.
Now, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
When you go back to waiting tables, was this after you filmed or after it aired? Or both?
Both. Yeah.
After it airs, right?
Right.
Did you show up like with the glasses from the
At
set?
work?
And was you pouring water like, you recognize me?
Here's the irony of that. I don't think anybody even noticed. In other words, nobody that I was working with saw that episode of Law and Order.
Did you tell them?
No, because I didn't tell anybody that I was working with that I was an actor. I didn't tell anybody in the restaurant that I was working that I was an actor. So, it wasn't until pretty much Barbershop that they found out that the guy they used to work with was acting.
Hold on. Okay, that's what I want to get into, because that's where I think most of the country noticed you, was Barbershop.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a story you've never heard. So
Okay.
Kenya, my wife Kenya, as you know, we did wife swap together.
Yes, I know her well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't like that tone. But anyways, this is what you don't know about Tim's story. So when Barbershop was coming around, like Ced and D-Ray and everyone was like, Gary, there's a white guy barber. You got to go out for it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't have the right management and I don't have an agent. I'm just winging it, stand up. Like Kenya's making phone calls, acting like my agent manager, my wife.
Right.
So we're trying to get in to Barbershop. We're trying to get an audition. So that's the script that I read.
Okay.
I knew all the lines. I knew my ad-libs, everything. Kenya called Tim because Kenya knew Tim when he was at USC at film school, trying to make it.
Yeah.
So she used to go to all the Tim's student films just to support him.
Yeah.
And she'd always tell me, yo, my friend Tim, he's done this, this, and this. And then she goes, he got Barbershop. And I said, I'm not asking you to call him to say, give me anything. I said, but can you call him to see if I can get an audition? So she called Tim, and being his first movie, he said, I'm not at liberty to make those calls yet. This is my first film.
Right.
But he brought you up because once the movie came out, Kenya called him right before it came out and said, hey, we're going first night to see Barbershop, blah, blah, blah. And he said, look out for Michael Ealy. Tim said that, and we know who you were. And I said, well, who is it? And he goes, you'll know. He's the guy with the colorful eyes and the cornrows. He's the thug barber in the movie. But Tim said that before it came out. He told me and Kenya, look out for you. I don't know if you do that.
I did not know that, but that I mean, Tim and I are tight to this day, and there's so many factors that play into getting a movie, especially your first big gig. And shout out to Tyrese for saying no to Barbershop.
Oh, we're supposed to go to Tyrese first?
Tyrese had an opportunity. I think he turned it down. Oh. And yeah, like you never know. Like you never know what's gonna happen. But and there was also this like issue, I think, with like if they got Eve, Tyrese wasn't gonna do it. You know what I mean? Or something like that. Not because he had beef with her, but I think budget. So it was
budget.
Like,
okay, yeah.
I was very inexpensive on Barbershop. So
you was yes.
Oh yeah.
He was yes.
I was like, please.
Hold on, per diem? What the fuck?
I was like, this is something they don't tell you about in acting school. It's per diem. Okay. But it was but yeah, I remember feeling like when I got Barbershop, I remember feeling like, wow, this is a big get for me. I don't know what this movie's gonna do. And I never imagined it doing what it did. But it was a huge get for me. It was a huge get for me. And all I could think of was, I'm just going to bring my A game and, like, honestly, just pray for the best. And to this day, I owe, Tim, Cube signed off on me. That was huge. Cube to this day. Shout out to Cube because he could have said no. He just could have said no. He could have said bye.
How many auditions was it for you to get that part?
I did. My first one was a pre-read with the casting associate. And then she said, come back the next day and read with the director. And then after that, I think I had 2 callbacks. One was Sean Patrick Thomas, and one I don't even remember who else was in the room on the final audition. but
Wow.
it was probably about 4. And after the second audition is when I moved to Los Angeles. I made my
So you were
decision
on.
after that audition.
So when you went in for the casting associate for Barbershop, you're
Yeah.
waiting tables in New York.
Yes, I happened to be waiting tables in New York, but I had come. Here's the beauty of timing. I had come to LA for 3 weeks. I came out here for 3 weeks just to see what it would be like to pound the pavement out here.
This
'Cause
is
I had
before
kinda-
Barbershop, right?
This
before
is before barbershop.
the audition.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't even have a barbershop audition, and I
Okay.
didn't even know about it. My team in New York didn't even know about it. My man Russell Hornsby, who's a formidable, if not, I mean, just incredible actor himself. He and I were out playing basketball one day, and he was like, "Yo, you heard of these auditions for this movie Barbershop?" He said, "I went in today. I think you should give your people a call and try and get in." He didn't have to do that.
Right.
He did not have to do that. So like
Eh.
the idea that he did that, you know, and then I went in and you know kind of earned it in the room. I mean, that's why our friendship is beautiful to this day, because it's like you got to look out for each other, right? So you can raise each other up, and I will always be grateful to the people that helped me get my start, because I know, you know, it didn't have to go that way. There were 300,000 guys who could have played Ricky in that movie. So I'm extremely blessed.
Yeah, but not like you, bro. Not
Right.
like you. I mean, you embodied that character to the point that I was a little afraid to meet you, because I
Really?
was like, I don't know who this guy is, honestly. Is it the Tyler Perry throw the babies out the window dude? Or is it the guy making out with Eve in the back of the barbershop near the lockers? Which dude is this dude? I didn't know who you were, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. You didn't want to meet either one of them, really. You know what I mean? You didn't want to meet either one of them. Yeah, those were some interesting roles. Those two were pretty interesting, and obviously the movie with Tyler was, you know, that was pretty disturbing. You know,
So you
I was
told me
205 pounds on that movie. It just like crazy.
what do you normally walk around weight wise when we're not? Hold on, when we're not in a pandemic, because everybody's got a few extra pounds right now.
I'm typically around 175.
How do you
So-
put on 30 pounds?
Ate late and often, and lifted heavy.
Oh, okay, because that's not easy. It's funny how when people change their natural physical build to those
Right.
extremes,
Right.
and
Right.
and then let me ask you this: was it hard to take it off?
Yes, but I didn't have a choice. I jumped right into The Good Wife right afterwards, and I had to go from, you know, I had to start wearing, you know, fitted suits. So
Yeah.
I had to lose, I think I lost 25 pounds in about 6 weeks.
Whoa, god dang! Just eating what, salads?
I mean, I was eating very lightly, but at the same time, I was just burning. I was doing cardio pretty much daily. You know, 3 to 5 miles just daily. Just I had to get it down. I did not want to look funky in the suits, and you know, this character was very well put together in The Good Wife. So it was imperative to lose it quickly. And I mean, the gigs kind of overlapped. I had maybe 2 days off between both gigs.
Wow. Now Tyler's notorious for filming fast.
Yes.
Was that a fast shoot?
No.
What's-
Not like at the risk of like performance and integrity. No. Because
Yeah.
he's the boss, he can slow things down in ways that I've never seen before. Right? So I remember doing a scene with Kimberly Elise where I had to, I think it might have been cut from the movie, but I had to assault her. And, you know, it was a pretty traumatic experience for both of us. And, you know, by the time we got ready to shoot, there were just so many things that we needed to work out. And I remember Tyler specifically just being a boss and being like, okay, everybody take a break. The whole crew take a break. We'll call you when we're ready. You've been on movies. That doesn't happen.
Right. I've never seen it happen.
That does not happen. I mean, it's like, but again, when you're Tyler, you run your own ship.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was just like, and we spent another 90 minutes working on that material to make sure that once the cameras were rolling, we got it right. And I will always have respect for Tyler for that very reason, because he did not sacrifice the integrity of any moments, especially in that film, whatsoever. So as fast as he may have a reputation for shooting, I saw him work, even scenes with Felicia Rashad and Kerry Washington and Anika Noni Rose. I saw him grant so much time and presence and energy that everybody felt supported.
What was
Shout
the
out
name of
to
that movie,
Tyler.
Mike?
For Color Girls.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Medea's family reunion. Fuck. Sorry about that.
Why do I do this? Why?
Wrong movie,
Why?
man. I was like, did I miss that part of Medea's family reunion? No.
Why do I do this?
But I'd say it's very important to note that, because when you say you have the utmost respect for Tyler and working with him on a I would say an intense movie like that was.
Yeah.
I remember I was doing the Tom Joyner boat cruise, and I did one season of House of Pain.
Okay.
And somebody just kept needling the cast of House of Pain about how Tyler's hard to work with. And I just shut it down, and all I said was, hey, man, all you got to do is show up, hit your lines, and go home. If you do that, nobody's hard to work with. If you do that. So the fact that, and that was my experience with Tyler. I go, as long as I knew I was prepared, everything was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't see honestly, I've been lucky, and I don't want you to call anybody out, but I've never seen any drama on set, like just craziness.
Oh, you're lucky.
The closest I've ever gotten was.
You're lucky.
So you have. Do you want to share? You ain't got to name a name.
No, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think you just got to be careful, because you never know what people are going through.
True.
You could say some people are just assholes, right?
That's fact.
Yes, that's true. There are certain people that are just assholes. There are other people, especially, in our business, who genuinely, they could be going through something, and then that carries over into the work or into the workplace, and, it becomes much more difficult, and, they come across as ungrateful and all these other things. And I'm not trying to make excuses for bad behavior, but I think, again, as we were talking about before, sometimes you got to look at the context before you create judgment.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that, but I don't really have those stories. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're lucky. You're lucky. And, look, there's certain people who, it's like, I don't know if I could work with again, because it's like, there's just too much drama.
I thought it was interesting, and I don't know if this ever happened. Like you was talking about earlier, guys that were generous in their letting you know when auditions were and everything else.
Yeah.
I've never worked on a movie like Think Like a Man and two where the 6 guys, I really think we all stay in touch and generally root for each other in all our endeavors. I don't think, usually I've worked with people and you work with them and then it just kind of, you get, everybody's got their own little hustle and you're going in different directions.
Right.
Have you ever worked on a movie outside of Think Like a Man like that?
I don't think I've ever built such a long-lasting family dynamic as we did on Think. I think, people have often asked me, like even the crew from Barbershop, we were a family while we were there and we were a family on the sequel, but not like this group. This group from Think Like a Man 1 and 2, guys and girls, I don't know. It's something special. It really is its own separate thing. And I'm so happy and grateful to be a part of it because, like you said, most people don't get that throughout their entire career.
Yeah, I was reading there was an actress, she stopped acting, and this is back in the like 60s, because she goes, I'm doing these films and I get really close with these people for like 2-3 months and then we never talk again.
Right.
And it, like she said, it hurt her. Like she was a little more in depth than I was. I can let shit go. Like
right. Right. Well, for some of us, I think for me, it's always been like summer camp, right? You kind of go away and you shoot for, 2 months, and you get to know all these people. And then once it's over, if you're in a relationship with somebody from that project, you realize, well, what we really had in common was the project, right? And so, you find yourself like thinking, oh, this was kind of like summer camp. Like it just wasn't, it's kind of temporary. And I think that, to add to your point, I think that was the main difference with Think Like a Man is, when Jerry had his baby, it was like everybody was just showering love.
Right.
It's like when Kev had his accident, it's like everybody's showering love. When, Taraji gets married, it's like everybody's showering love. And Gab has her baby. Everybody, you know what I mean? Like everybody's been there for each other. And even when Megan and I did The Intruder, we reached out to everybody and everybody showed up for us. And, even when I came up there, you came out and hung out with me and introduced the film and me at a screening up there in Oakland. So, like, you're right. Like, it's kind of rare and it's kind of special, and something to be very grateful for.
Yeah, I thought that was I had never experienced anything like that to this day. But you also got to realize, like, we spent basically 4 straight dang near summers together. We film in 2011, the movie comes out in 2012, then we're filming 2013, then the second one comes out in 2014.
Yeah.
So it literally was like 4 years in a row where we were spending, weeks and months with each other.
I never did that math, but you're absolutely right. You're right. We spent time on the press tours and then, going from city to city. And then the time actually making the work. You're right. You're absolutely right. 4 years.
Yeah. Did you guys like ask where me and Jerry was when you did the Essence cover?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't know what was going on there, but that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they were trying to keep it consistent with the poster.
That hurt a little bit. I ain't gonna lie.
I know that will still get you, man. I wish we could do a 3. I wish we could do a Think Like a Man 3 just so that you can make the poster.
Well, here's what got me. Okay. Here's the funny part about the first one. When I watched the movie, I was like, all right, I was there, but then I disappear for 45 minutes and I pop back up. So I was like, okay. And the second one, I'm on the poster, so I was grateful. I was like, yes, I'm on the poster.
Yeah.
And then the DVD Blu-ray came out, and somehow I was gone. I went, who did I piss off at Screech House that you just took me completely off? Like, and it was funny because I don't trip. I find it a way to make a joke when I'm on the road.
Yeah.
But as your reps do, your manager and your agent, they take the shit personal.
Right.
And they're fighting the fight. And my manager, God bless her, so she literally called the art department of Sony or Screen, and they said, it just doesn't fit right. We got Kevin in the middle, and then it's even. It's 2 guys behind him, so it doesn't look right. She sent a picture of the Expendables where there was like 30 people on the cover, and she goes, you're in the wrong line of work if you can't make that work.
Yeah, but
it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah. There's plenty of movies with the whole cast in there. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's kind of like random or it's kind of arbitrary, like why that happened. You know what I mean? Like, especially if they don't have the studio doesn't give you a reason.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. I'm fine. I'm not hurt by it.
Right.
It's fine.
No, you've moved on.
Kinda. I mean, I got them up in my house, right there. It's whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine. I got my own show, homie.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. There you go.
Now, but I want to ask you this. So, a lot of people don't know this, but when we shot those basketball scenes in Think Like a Man, we really hooped in between scenes.
Yes.
And we had an ongoing score. So the teams it was me, Kevin, and Romney, correct? Yeah, it was me, Kevin, and Romney, and it was you, Terrence J, and Jerry.
Yeah.
And I always had to guard you.
Yeah.
And then Kev was guarding Jerry. A lot of people don't realize this. Jerry is the same height as Kevin.
Yeah.
It might be an inch difference, but
Yeah.
Kev makes such a deal about him being short. But I saw him standing next to you, and I go, Jerry's the same height, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the matchups weren't like skill related. They were all height related.
Completely.
They were all height related.
Completely.
Yeah.
And by the way, the final score, and I always remember it, was 52-51. My team won.
Yeah.
We kept an ongoing tally every day that we shot. 52,
Yeah,
51, 52,
we
51.
spent a week in that gym. And then remember when the NBA players came in, it was like, all right, let's give them what we got. And that was just bad.
Well,
that was real bad.
I'll tell you what's funny, and this is how I realize there's another level to basketball, is Tim said, okay, this is what we're going to do. Darren Collison, who's an NBA player, but, you would say average NBA player, which means he's amazing, by the way. That's not a put down to say you're an average NBA player.
Right.
Tim told him, hey, man, I'm going to say action, and then you jump up, and Gary, you jump up and try to block him, but don't touch him, but let him dunk on you. Okay. Tim says action. He jumps so fast, I hadn't even moved yet, and I go, oh, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know that was physically possible. And that's when I said there's another level of athleticism with NBA guys and actors.
We were never ready for that matchup because I remember the first time Matt Barnes, he looks like a skinny dude, right?
Yeah.
He set a pick for Shannon Brown, and I ran into Matt Barnes. And to this day, I will never forget what it felt like to run into Matt Barnes. It hurt. He was nothing but brick wall. It hurt so bad that if you can imagine running into Shaq or Charles Barkley or Charles Oakley and what those screens must have been like, I want no parts of that game. I want no parts of that game. I just don't.
It's another. Now, did you play basketball in high school?
I did.
Did you ever play against anybody that ever went pro or D1 college?
I don't think I ever played. I did play against one guy who's actually an assistant coach now. I think he was with Jason Vanderpool. And I think he was.
I know Jason.
You know Jason?
With the Trailblazers now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Jason. Let me tell. Here's what's crazy. I met Jason in Vegas shooting Think Like a Man too.
Oh wow. Okay.
We had a mutual friend from Pittsburgh. She's her name's Angie. She was on the hip hop station in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And I don't know if they were doing a remote or whatever, but I ended up just going over to one of the casinos and the pools one day.
Yeah.
And David was there, and that's how we met. Yeah, because he's from the DC area. That's right.
Yeah. He's from Maryland too, man. So we were our senior year, I think. I think either my junior year was his senior year or vice versa. But he was kind of a beast. And I don't remember where he went to play for college. I don't know if he ever really played in the league. I can't remember. But I think he did, right? So then all I know is he became an assistant coach and was, has been up for a couple of head coaching jobs and, will probably get one very soon. So shout out to Jason, DMV, man. But
you played against him or with him?
I played against him. And I believe that my junior year was his senior year because I didn't play much my junior year. So I think I remember seeing him from the bench. He's really good. Stop him.
Yeah. People don't realize, man, you go to Ball State, you can ball.
Yeah.
But any D1 athlete is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that puts into perspective. So I talked about Darren Collison, you talked about Matt Barnes. So those guys can pretty much dominate any gym in the nation.
Yeah.
Think of how good someone like Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron is, because they're a level above them. That's what's amazing, to even think that.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, it makes sense. I mean, they are touted as such, right? They're touted as legends, icons, Hall of Famers. I mean, in order to be dominant in a game, that physical, that brutal, that competitive, I mean, yeah, you're right. You look at those guys and you're just like, it's unfathomable how insanely dope you must be, because and how much work you had to put in to be that good.
Right.
You know what I mean? To be that good, to be that dominant where you're like a top 50 player, and you played against defensive like nemesis like Scottie Pippen and Rodman and all. I mean, dude, like.
Yeah, you can't even, like, it's funny when we're lucky in the entertainment business, we're around you get to meet a lot of pro athletes and be close to them. And it's funny when you get to know them and then you see the armchair people on social media talking about how they don't deserve their money or whatever. It's the only line of work where people say you don't deserve your money is sports. They don't really say it for actors or comedians. They don't really do that, but sports, that's the only line where they're like, they don't earn their money. I said, listen, man, after seeing up close, being at practices, NFL practices, NBA practices, being in boxing gyms and seeing how prized, champion boxers train. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Speaking of which, remember when we shot with Floyd Mayweather on the second one? And we were kind of bagging on him. And he did like some shoulder roll and did like some fake jabs, and I can't even explain it, but all of us went, "Oh shit!" Like I can't even explain what he did.
No, I remember thinking, "Oh, he's smaller than me. Oh, I could probably." And he did something where he kind of showed a couple moves, and all I could think of was that might have killed me. Like I would not have seen that coming, and I would have been knocked out. And then you realize that his hands are lethal for a reason, because, and it's not just the power, it's the hand speed, the way in which he moves. Like, it's insane. It's insane. And again, he's not, an average boxer.
No, he's the greatest of all time.
He's not an average boxer.
No, crazy. But even an average boxer, that sport's an art form in itself.
Yes, it's a science for sure.
You ever see people like putting themselves hitting the mitts on TV or on social media, and you're like, why does that not look right? It just looks their heads up, and it's awkward. You're like, oh, you would get destroyed in a fight, Yeah.
I'd
tell you, I was
and hitting mitts. Here's the thing: ain't nobody hitting you back. You know, ain't nobody hitting you back.
Okay, I'll tell you a funny story about hitting the mitts. Is I was working out with this guy in Cincinnati. He was a boxing trainer, and I'm in the ring, and he taught me how to throw a punch, and he's got the mitts. And in my brain, I'm like, I'm looking like Mayweather right now. It felt like that. So I had my boy tape me one day, and he showed it to me on his phone, and I go, yo, why you got that in slow motion? He goes, no, that's you. That's you for real. I said, oh, shit. I never posted it.
That was real time, huh?
In my brain, it was like, hey, I'm about to hit you.
Dude.
It was so slow.
Hand speed is a whole different thing, man. It's a whole different thing. And like you said, you realize, like that day with Floyd, I was like, this is a science that he knows. Like, I know the alphabet. Like, it's in him. It's innate. There's nothing that, if it comes down to it, I would be destroyed quickly.
Yeah.
quickly.
I'm taking a knee. I'm just begging.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's on social media.
Yeah.
You know?
And then, I mean, think about what he did to Manny Pacquiao. It was like, Manny Pacquiao scares me. With his punching power, scares me.
Or even Canelo.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Canelo is
he's got real
annihilating
punching
people.
power. Yeah.
And Floyd just messed with him a little bit. Figures you out.
Whap, whap.
But I
Watch
think
out.
a lot of that is with Floyd and a lot of these champion boxers is they're just so comfortable in the ring that it really is a job to them. They're not nervous, like not nervous where it's going to affect their performance. Because I'm thinking some of those guys, when you go from like the little gyms, and the only thing I can relate to is a comedian the first time you do a big theater show, and all of a sudden there's thousands and there's cameras. I mean, I'd be nervous as shit if I'm a boxer.
Right.
You're about to go in there. I was like, ooh, I don't know.
Have you ever gone in the ring and like, you know, done 6 rounds or so?
No. Okay. I've never sparred in a ring where somebody was hitting me back with bad intentions.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a story. When I first started waiting tables, one of my friends at the restaurant was the manager of the restaurant. His name was Peter. And we were young and stupid. So we were very competitive. We bet on everything. And then one day we decided that after watching enough boxing matches that we could actually have a boxing match ourselves. And so we set it up. I didn't have any money. He was making more money. So he rented out a ring in Manhattan. He rented out like a training ring. And literally the head bartender was like the ref. He was our Richard Steele. And we had 3 regulars. You know, think like Norm and Cliff. We had 3 regulars from the bar come and be like the judges. And about 20 people actually showed up for this fight. And we actually had people walk, like we had to walk in to like music and everything. So he came in, he was about 30 pounds heavier than me. We kind of ignored the weight class thing.
Right.
We kind of ignored that part. So I'm from Maryland. I was like, I'm gonna do my best Sugar Ray Leonard, because that's the guy I grew up just admiring. Ray Leonard was everything, right? So I was coming in Sugar Ray Leonard, and he was coming in. He did his best Mike Tyson thing. He put on the towel. He had the black trunks and the black shoes. And I can't remember what his song was, but mine was Big Payback with James Brown, right?
Hold on, you guys had music.
We had music to enter the ring. I'm not even joking. This really happened. And so, but the funny part was, we made the bet at work one night, and I remember thinking, oh, he's not gonna take this seriously. I'm gonna go get some real training. And about a week before the fight, I found out he had been training as well. So we both had our trainers there at the fight.
You had cornermen.
We had cornermen. Now, I had never been in a ring for 1 round. Never. Because the place where I was training was a gymnasium, so it had a hard floor. I was not aware that the ring sucks your energy away from you.
I didn't know that either.
It does. Every time you bounce up and down, that ring takes your energy. It just absorbs your energy. So I came out, I hit him with a couple combinations, whap, 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 whap. And he was like, okay. All of a sudden, my friend went from like my friend to like the Tasmanian devil, and he was trying to kill me. Literally, he was trying to kill me. And so I got my ass kicked the first round, the second round, and at the end, oh, here's the funny thing. At the end of the first round, we had a 20-second bell, or a 10-second bell, right? Let you know there was 10 seconds left in the round.
Yeah.
We heard that bell, and we both went to our separate corners.
He was looking for the rest.
Our cornermen were like, no, that's 10 seconds. You got 10 seconds. We looked at each other. We was like, I can't make it. Oh, my God. And sure enough, The second round, he came out. He still was like, ah. And he, again, 30 pounds heavy. Dude, he knocked my mouthpiece out. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And so the third round happened. We were only doing 6. The third round came. And all of a sudden,
you did 6 3-minute rounds?
6 3-minute rounds.
Okay.
With literally 2 weeks of training. Literally. Okay? Which is no training. So we were so unprepared. The third round came out, and all I could remember was rope-a-dope. And I thought to myself, he's got to be tired. And so I said, I'm just going to stand up against the rope, and I'm going to let him swing and just keep myself, we had protective gear, and I just kept my hands up. And so he kept punching and punching, and he was running out of steam. And then, this is how old I am. I remember a fight back in the day with Donald the Cobra Curry.
Donald Curry.
You remember Donald the Cobra Curry?
Or the Pumas.
Yep.
Yep.
He was up against the ropes, getting knocked out, and just threw one uppercut and knocked this guy out. And so when Peter was running out of energy, I just had that flashback. I came up with 2 of them. Pop, pop. And that was it. Like, he was
You
like...
knocked him out?
No, I didn't knock him out, but I knocked him back, and he never recovered after that. All of a sudden, it was like that moment. It's the third round. It's that moment where you see it in your opponent's eyes that they scared because they had, you know what I mean? He had never been hit. He really hadn't been hit. And so I got long arms. So I just proceeded to pick him apart for the next 3 rounds. And after the next 2, at the end of the 5th round, he was like, I'm done. I quit. I throw in a towel. I think I'm going to have a heart attack. I can't take it no more. Couldn't do it. We were 25 years old. We were 24, 25 years old. That's how tired we were, right? Mm-hmm. And so at the end of the 6th round, I just picked him apart, the whole thing, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Because I had all this energy that was still left. Because I just kind of rope-a-dope.
Rope-a-dope.
And, bruh, the judges voted. I raised my hand. And here's where it's really raggedy. Peter's boy videotaped the fight. Do you think I've ever seen that tape?
That was the next question. Is there video of this?
It's been missing for 20-something years. It's been missing for 20 years. Yeah.
Peter still got that video.
He never, if he had won that fight, I guarantee you, the minute Barbershop came out, that fight would have been online. I'll tell you that right now.
It would have been on YouTube.
Would have been online. It would have been free on YouTube with a million hits. Just like, go ahead, watch him get his ass kicked. But the fact that he lost that fight, and it was his boy who was from Trinidad, who apparently took the tape back to Trinidad and lost it.
Now, where's Peter at today? You still in touch with him?
Yeah, he's got a restaurant in Brooklyn called The Grill. So yeah.
Don't you post about the Grill?
Yeah.
That's one of your favorite spots?
Yeah.
No wonder. You be going in there with your chest out.
Yeah, I go in there. I'm hoping that, at some point I get this tape back, man. You know what I mean? Like I can find it. I don't even know if you have a device to play this thing because it was like 8mm video or something. It was something crazy.
That was back when you had to hold it right here, right? And then it flipped out?
Yep.
One of those?
It was one of these. It was one of them joints. But yeah, that's how young and stupid I was at 24, 25 years old.
I'm still thinking you guys had judges and let me ask you, did you have ring card girls?
We did not have ring card girls, but our judge, he's an actor, so he literally wore like the blue shirt and the bow tie.
Oh, you guys was into it.
Yeah,
he was role playing.
We got into it. We did it for real, and we went through it on that one, man. I haven't been in the ring since.
Smart man, honestly. Yeah. Smart.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me switch gears here. Out of all the movies you've done, and you've played just about everything out there. Is there a dream role or type of character you want to play that you haven't done yet?
I haven't done the action role of a lifetime yet. I really want. I think I wanted to play a boxer. I wanted to play. I haven't done like a good sports film either. So either some sort of sports film. Haven't done that yet. But in terms of like a really I haven't done that just ultimate action movie yet that I just can't stop. Like I can't get enough of it. I got to do that real soon.
What you talking about? When you say action, are you talking Bad Boys? Or you talking like Black Panther?
No, I'm talking like John Wick.
Oh, John Wick type. Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking like Jason Bourne, John Wick, like close physical combat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's your dream role.
Right now,
Is there?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people. Look, everybody talks about getting statues and playing some particular person. Like in an autobiography or something like that. But I don't know.
Now,
I think growing up a huge Die Hard fan, like I was a huge Die Hard fan. So it's like John McClane is like a hero to me. Like I just loved his wit, his energy, all that stuff.
Is there a director, if you could pick one director that you haven't worked with yet?
Steve McQueen.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. For those of you that don't know, he's talking about the black Steve McQueen, the director.
Yeah.
Because that threw me at the Oscars.
Oh, really?
It's like, yo, what? That's not the Steve McQueen I thought directed this movie?
Yeah. Yeah, probably Steve McQueen. Yeah.
Now, have you met him?
Yeah. I met him at the White House, actually. Yeah.
Like last year? Or no?
Nope, it wasn't last year. Previous administration.
Right. So before we came on, I asked the fans to ask some questions for me and you.
Okay.
And they said, if me and you did a buddy film, what type of film you think it would be? Obviously, it's going to be a comedy.
You and I?
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe like a reverse trading places or something?
Yeah, I can see that.
You know what I mean?
Without question.
I can see reverse trading places or 48 hours even.
Yeah, you would definitely be the
Kate's.
Have your stuff somewhat together as far as
I'd
the
have
job
the
goes.
haggard cop. Yeah, I'd be the haggard cop for sure.
That would be funny, because they're always, they're always remaking different movies. That would be funny. Just throw it on its head.
48 hours
out of prison.
Yeah, you're the one getting out of prison, singing Roxanne in the cell.
Right. We got to do it in like Huntington, West Virginia.
Right.
Not the Bay. I got to be from the Appalachian Hills.
Well, with that facial hair you got going, I think we ready.
I call this the Flu Manchu. I'm not going to cut it till we're able to go outside. I didn't realize it was going to look like this. I ain't going to lie. I thought you looked a little rough. I was like, no, mine's definitely worse.
Yeah.
Mine's definitely worse. Now, let me ask you this. How are you, because in the beginning, if you're a single guy and you get these parts and you're by yourself, you got plenty of time to sit alone, get in character, get your lines down, read the scripts. Now, you got two little ones.
Yeah.
And your kids are great. I was around them in Hawaii.
Yeah.
By the way, cat out the bag, wife swap is fake.
Yes, please.
It was just a picture I did on social media. And it was so random how I'm in Hawaii and I got a show. So we're just going to stay for the week. And then I see Mike's page. It was either you or your wife's page that I saw. And I go,
it was my wife's page, I think.
It was, yeah. And all of a sudden I just text you. I said, yo, are you in Hawaii?
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah. And all of a sudden we just go to a luau together. And then
We were
went
staying
to
like
this-
20 minutes from each other
Yeah, right.
and
I'm
didn't- and
surprised we
didn't
didn't
know
run
it.
into each other
and didn't know
at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And then I went to where you guys were staying. You guys had a little house on the beach, which was like out of a movie. The views.
Yeah. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Yeah, but the wife swap was a joke that I didn't think people would think it was serious.
I told you I had family members that asked me about it, and I was like, no.
They really thought we were on wife swap?
No, we really didn't swap wives.
Right.
No,
I'm more amazed when people are like, can't wait to see that episode. Can't wait till that airs. I go, well, keep waiting.
It's gonna be a long one. It's gonna be a long one.
It was supposed to air this week, but the corona took it out.
Right.
That's
Coronavirus stopped us from seeing that
corona
real
took it
wife
out.
swap.
But what I was getting at is having kids at the age. Now, how old is your son and daughter?
My son's gonna be 7 next week, and my daughter's 3, going on 4.
Now, where do you now? How do you find the time? Because you're very much like you told me when you did Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah.
You had to disappear for a week when you wrapped filming just to become Ealy again.
Yeah.
Like you get really into character. Like I told you, and I always, all the guys from Think Like a Man, I always try to support everyone's projects by going to see their movies when they come out the first week.
You were very honest about this one.
I told you, I said, dude, I'm not seeing Jacob's Ladder. Yeah. I said, that shit fucks my head up. The psychological horror movies.
Yeah, you were scared.
I can't do it. I saw the first one.
Yeah.
I saw the first one. And I was like, there ain't no way I can. When I saw the preview, you were on the train or something.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm good. Yeah. I am straight.
Yeah. No,
but now that you have little kids and you're getting into characters like this, how are you able to balance that?
I think, I think if a role like that were to come up again now, you got to create the space. You got to create the space. You got to go into the shed and you got to do the work. Like there's, you got to find a way to make it work. You can't get it done at home. I'm in my wife's closet right now because I can't find any kind of space if my kids are home all the time. Yeah. So there's no place to go where you can be like alone anymore. So you're right. It's very hard to prepare, but my wife's been fantastic about that kind of stuff. And if I'm like, yo, I just need to go check into a hotel for a week and just kind of just get into it and, zone out, she'll be completely and 100% supportive of that. Which is fantastic,
And you
provided I got a movie to do.
A movie, yeah. Well, that'd be funny. I gotta disappear for a week. Do you have a movie? Nah. I just gotta get away for a week.
I just gotta go to this hotel for a week and
You tell you why I gotta go away for a week. When's the movie coming out? When are you filming? Oh, it's in Germany. It's in Germany, man. And it's a German film and it's only getting released in Frankfurt.
You don't speak German, Michael. That's details.
Subtitles.
Details.
Right. Like this. Have you seen Mr. Bean? He had 3 words the whole movie. Okay.
They're gonna dub it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, but I will say, like knowing your family now the way I do, you very much have had a career where people know you from your work and not everything outside the work.
Okay.
And that's hard to do in today's day and age. That's a talent in itself.
Okay.
To definitely keep your private life private.
Right.
Because you got married and nobody knew.
Yeah.
Nobody knew on the whole cast. We were just like, Mike got married? And all the guys looked around like, did you go? Did you? No, me neither.
Shayla was clowning me about that the other day. She was like, I'm still mad that I wasn't at the wedding. And I was like, sorry, but you weren't alone,
Right. Well, honestly,
like, nobody was.
We my wedding was in itself, 2003 was a story in itself, but we renewed our wedding vows 5 years ago, and we took the same route. We kept it only like immediate family and friends from back in the day.
Yeah.
Because when you do have when you decide to do a small wedding, you have a limited number of seats and invitations. People get in their feelings.
Yep.
If they're not invited.
Yep.
So the fact that you got married and nobody knew. Yep. I'm talking about on Earth.
Right.
Like, where did you go?
Well,
Was it in California?
It's funny because people always talk about how I did it, and I'm like, I noticed like a year after me, Kerry Washington was married, and nobody knew that was going to happen.
Facts.
And so, the reality is you can do or keep anything that you want to keep to yourself if you don't broadcast it. Broadcasting things is a choice.
True.
I just choose typically not to broadcast certain things because, especially a marriage or a wedding or whatever you want to call it, like for me, because I was trying to protect what we had, it just didn't feel like it was right to like broadcast all of that news and everything else. Once it was done, it's like, okay, yeah, you put it out there. But to keep it about us, that was more important. And I think, look, how you've been married a long time, and our wives are very similar.
Man, that's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Do we want to get into that?
That's
or do
a
we got
whole
another
nother
3 hours?
podcast. That's a whole nother podcast.
I'll just say this. I'll just say this about me and Ealy's wife. When we did the fake episode of Wife Swap,
Yeah.
me and Mike have the exact same complaints about our spouse.
Yep.
And we don't have to get into it. It's just the exact same complaints. I said the problem with Wife Swap is we'd be together.
It would be like this is not any different than what I'm used to. So,
but I don't want to get off subject. But the only thing I don't want to confuse people either is your dad was in the military, right?
Yes, he was a Marine.
He was a Marine, so you grew up with structure and everything has a place.
Yes.
I'm ex-military.
Yes.
Same way.
Yeah.
Structure and everything has a place. Our wives, both from the Bay Area, shouts out to the Bay.
Shout out to the Bay.
They ain't ever been to the military. So it's a free-for-all as far as shoes and clothes and boxes.
Boxes.
To the point is, I called Mike Monday, last week, to ask him to be on the podcast. And
I knew this was
I
coming.
said, where are you at? And he goes, I'm on my way to the recycling bin to drop off these empty boxes because since this has happened, boxes get delivered every day and they're overrunning the front door of our house. Not the story top. I took a picture of my front door and sent it to Mike. And I've never seen so many boxes every day. We got 5 boxes right now outside. We don't bring the boxes in for 3 days because we're scared of the corona thing. So when it gets delivered, it just sits on the front porch for 3 days. So it's the same.
The amount of boxes. I mean, I don't even know if I recycle the boxes, and I don't think I could even throw them away. Like not recycle them. I have to recycle them because
it would just
it's
build
up. I just don't understand why there's so many boxes.
Me neither. Dude,
and you and I have talked about this. We're not alone. There's it's kind of like fantasy football. Like I think guys are meeting in certain groups and going to therapy over boxes in their house and how to get rid of them. You know what I'm saying?
It's the clutter.
Because you can't ask, what is it? And why do we need this? Because the answer will never be sufficient.
I ask every time. Maybe I should stop.
It's pointless.
Yeah,
it's pointless.
That's fine. Thank you, Mike.
It will never make sense.
This just became podcast / marriage counseling. The answer is never sufficient.
Just make 2 to 3 trips a week to the recycle center. You know what I mean? And you make the world a better place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You make the world a better place. But that's where we at, man. That's where we at. You know, but as I was saying, you have been married a long time, and I think you will be the first to say the work that you put into your marriage means so much more than the work that you put into your wedding.
Facts. Well, I always say you see these elaborate celebrity weddings, not even celebrity weddings, just people with a lot of money. And they put them in magazines and all these shit. And then the marriage is over in a couple years.
Or less.
And then you see the people that don't announce it, and then boom, they're always together, and it's very low key. Yes, I don't know how you do it, because I ain't gonna lie, I be posting all my shit. So sorry, but
I mean, look, again, everybody's different, and I think that's what makes us all dope, is we have a way of doing it, and if it works for you, then fine, dude.
Well, I don't want to say that. I don't post, like any marriage, you're gonna have arguments and disagreements. I always try to tell people, do not put anything out there on social media, because you can't get it back. Oh, I just see people and I'm like, why did you post that? Why did you put that out there? It's just, it's not gonna look right in the end. It just doesn't look right.
But oftentimes that happens because you've made a habit of posting.
Yeah.
Once you get into a habit of posting things, you end up posting things that you probably shouldn't post.
Yeah.
And then you can't, like you said, you can't pull it back.
Yeah. So we don't post everything, honestly.
You don't.
I'm probably gonna hear about this podcast. Why would you bring up my boxes?
And to that, I mean, look, we're not alone. Like in our conversations, we're not alone. Like, it's not just, we're not the only ones. There's a contingency of people out there whose spouses are just cluttering up the front porch with boxes. You know what I mean? I think, Amazon has kind of just said, look, we're going to just do this. And there's nothing you can do about it. We're going to make it easy. We're going to close down all the other stores, but we're going to make it easy for you. You're just going to have to get rid of the boxes. And don't be surprised. I'm going to say it right now. Don't be surprised if Amazon starts saying, leave your boxes out front, we'll pick them up.
Yeah.
For your Prime membership fee. You know what I mean? It includes box pickup.
I guess what my thing was, I didn't watch Oprah. My wife used to watch Oprah every week. Yeah. And one episode I watched with her was, if you have something in your closet you haven't worn for a year, get rid of it, because you really don't need it. Right. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Nah. My wife literally has like a Public Enemy 1992 concert t-shirt in the closet. I'm like, what are you doing? You're not wearing that.
But you know what? She's not gonna get rid of it either.
That's a fact. She's got a reason for having it.
Just need more space to put stuff.
Don't get me started on that.
I can't.
She literally, our daughter's going to college next year. She goes, ooh, more closet space. I go, no. We just gotta get rid of some stuff. What do you mean more closet space? What is that?
It's a no-win situation.
That's a fact.
It's a no-win situation. Notice how I said I'm in my wife's closet, because mine is not even remotely half this size.
You couldn't even be on the podcast in your closet?
Yeah, I couldn't even be on the podcast in my closet. There's not enough room for the phone and me.
Right. And your wife, I saw before we got on, Cat's on the Bag, your wife moving shoes and shit.
Oh, man.
And like she was in straight clear out
mode. She was trying to straighten it out. You know what I mean? If I raise this phone, you're going to see something. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
So I don't want to hold you all day, because I know we only got a month and a half left to be locked in.
Right.
But I want to get back to the question I asked earlier. You said give you a minute.
Okay.
Outside of Think Like a Man and Think Like a Man 2, which clearly we know those are your favorite two movies, is there a movie you look back on that you're like, that was a good time?
Right. So two things. One, Miracle at St. Anna. It was Spike Lee.
Where'd you guys film that at?
Italy.
Oh, God.
So,
what a great place to film.
Italy and New York and Louisiana, actually. So that was probably my favorite movie in terms of like, one, getting to work with one of your childhood heroes and Spike Lee. Second, to be able to travel to that part of the world and see the beauty of, Tuscany and Rome, and I went everywhere, Naples and Florence and everything else, and blah blah blah. So it was like, it was gorgeous. We went to Greece while we were over there. Like, it was just like it was just like a life experience to travel abroad and shoot for 3 months, and then shoot in like classic places where like Fellini made his films and things of that nature. Like, you can't quite put, you can't quantify that experience. You just have to say it's all about quality. Like, that was just an incredible shooting experience. And then I know actors do this all the time, but my next movie that's coming out, Fatale, with Hilary Swank.
Shout
Dion
out to Dion
directed that
Taylor.
one. Yeah, Dion directed that one. But it's me and Hilary Swank, and it was shot by an incredible DP named Dante Spinotti. And I've seen the trailer so far. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I've seen the trailer so far, and it's just one of the most beautifully shot films I've ever done. And I feel like, being able to work opposite a 2-time Oscar winner in Hilary Swank, and like, again, the work experience from that, what I learned from that, you're only going to get better if you play with people who are better. You know that about sports. You get better in basketball by playing people who are better than you. You get better in tennis by playing people who are better than you. You get better in golf by playing people who are better than you. So, I think it was one of those things where it was like, it was just such an incredible shooting experience. And, working with Dion for a second time was absolutely incredible. It was incredible because we had like a shorthand this time around.
And where'd you shoot Fatale at?
LA.
Oh, right in LA. So it was funny because I remember, it just hit me just now. You called me before you did Intruder.
Yeah.
To ask
I called
me
you actually about Dion. Yep.
about Dion.
Yep.
Yeah, and I worked with them on Meet the Blacks, and I was just like, yo, he's dope.
Yeah.
I got no complaints, man. None.
No, you set up. We talked about that recently, and you really did vouch for him in such a way that it was like, okay, it made my initial conversation with him so easy.
Yeah, because Dion's an interesting cat because he's kind of on the outside looking in of mainstream Hollywood, but he's making his own way in a way that I've never seen, where he just it's one of those never have a plan B type deals. Like, Dion was just like, yo, I'm gonna be a director. I'm gonna direct movies.
Yeah.
And they're just getting better every film. You know what I mean? Yeah,
this one especially, like he's definitely he's getting better, he's getting stronger, he's making different choices, but he's in a position where he has the ability to make what he wants, and that's a privileged place to be in, and I think he's making the most of it.
Yeah, because when I saw Intruder, the only complaint I had was it's so hard to see Joseph Sikora not as Tommy from Power.
Right.
So to see him play kind of a puss, it's like, yo, when he was at the driveway with Dennis Quaid, I go, Tommy, this movie's over, homie. This shit is done. Right. Tommy ain't getting killed by Dennis.
That's my second movie with Joe, and shout out to Joe Sikora right there, man. Joe, that's my second movie with Joe, and the comparisons between you two are hilarious. I love that it's going back and forth between you two because he's a legend, like especially in the streets of Atlanta. Like we were shooting Jacob's Ladder, people were just like, "Oh my God, Tommy!"
Oh, Tommy. Hold on, he was in Jacob's Ladder.
He's in Jacob's Ladder too.
I didn't see it, so that's why I didn't know. I was like,
I
well,
know.
because you said second movie. I'm going, what was the first?
Yeah, we did Jacob's
Jacob's
Ladder.
Ladder.
We did that one first, and then we did The Intruder.
That's why I didn't know. Okay, because I was sitting here like zoning out, like I don't remember the first movie with you and Joseph.
Yeah, he's kind of in disguise in Jacob's Ladder. Like you can barely recognize him.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a dope dude. He's a cool dude though.
Dope dude.
It was because we kept getting compared over and over again, and then I did an episode of Power. What was it? It was the talk show with Terrence after Power.
Yeah.
God dang, I can't remember.
Power
Anyways,
After Dark or something like that?
Yeah. Okay. And that's the first time I met Joseph. And he was just, he was saying the same thing, like, dude, if I get one more person telling me they like this joke, or he's like, that's not me. I literally I've had people stop me and didn't believe I'm not on Power. Like, shut up. Why are you trying to do that? Trying to be somebody I see you laying low, Tommy. No, I'm not him. Like,
Right.
That's close.
That's kind of an all white people look alike thing because you and Tommy, you and Joe don't look alike at all. At all. Well, you know what I mean?
There's certain angles you're like, I could see it, but then when we're around each other, I'm like, not really. But I'm glad he came along because before it was Tommy, it was Biff from Back to the Future. So I'm taking Tommy and running with it as far as my doppelganger.
Yeah. Biff from Back to the Future. Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, no problem.
What was now? Who you told me who yours was? Who was yours? Doppelganger.
I lost audio.
I said you. Who was your doppelganger? You told me who it was. Who people kept mistaking you for?
Oh, I've had numerous people, but the only one that I think is close is Mac Wild.
Really?
Yeah, I'll go through IG and I'll see him and think it's me. He's the only one. Like I used to get compared to Hill Harper. You know what I mean?
I don't see that at all.
Gary Dordan.
That's the one I see. And
but I don't see that anymore. Like I think maybe 10 years ago or so, but I don't see it anymore.
10 years ago, but it always. I mean, you could tell you guys weren't the same, but it was like okay, they could definitely play each other. If there was the Michael Ealy story, or the Gary Dardane story, I could see that. Yeah, you're kind of your own individual. The Michael Ealy story. I was like, okay, don't forget, guys, the boxing scene. That'd be you on set doing the Michael Ealy story. You'd be determined to get that boxing scene in there.
Absolutely, you got to put that in the movie.
Excuse me, Steve
That
McQueen.
Was a life-altering thing right there. Yeah.
Can you? No. It's the wrong theme song. I didn't come out to that song. No, you don't understand, Mike. We have Drake for the soundtrack. He's doing all the songs. No. It has to be accurate, Steve.
Can't do it any other way.
Right.
Can't do it
now, okay, before I get you out of here, it's been such a positive podcast. My biggest fear in acting is going blank in a scene with an A-lister, so to speak. And you've worked with numerous. I mean, Will Smith, Gary Owen. There's so many. But
in that order.
Has there ever been a moment in all the films or TV shows that you just went blank and went, oh shit, I just dropped it? This guy's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, Ealy's perfect.
I did a movie, one of my first movies, actually. This might have been my first movie before the one with Greg Kinnear and Hugh Jackman, actually. I did a movie with Chris Rock and Anthony Hopkins. And I had a scene with Anthony Hopkins.
Bad Company, right?
Bad Company, thank you.
Yeah.
I had a scene with Anthony Hopkins. And I was so nervous. So nervous. Because as much as I wanted to see, I wanted to think, oh, this is Anthony Hopkins. This is my shot. That was Hannibal Lecter, man. I was like this. I couldn't quite get my stuff together. And then finally, he was like, he introduces himself. He's like, call me Tony. And I'm like, no.
Call him Tony?
Call him Tony. I was
Okay.
like, no.
Stop.
It's like,
calling you Anthony Hopkins. I'm calling you by
kinda
both your names.
I hear that when you meet Robert De Niro, he's like, call me Bob. I'm like, no, I'm not going to call you.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So it was one of those things where, I'm in a scene with Anthony Hopkins, and the first take, I was just like this. I got caught watching him, and I was like, whew, I'm so sorry. And, we cut, and he said something to me that I'll never forget, but I'll never tell. And I just said, thanks. Thank you.
It just calmed your nerves?
Yeah. And instantly, and I've never, ever, I've never been shook since. Never been shook since.
Do you think can you share with me off air?
No.
No? Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, I'm pretty private like that, Gary.
I thought I might have something to pull from in case I ever go blank.
I tell you what, you ask me off air and I'll tell you what I think you should do.
Okay. That's fair.
Okay.
So I'm going to call you when we're done. So I can do this. So I don't want to confuse people either before we get out of here. This is the last thing I promise, Mike.
Okay.
Why did you give me the nickname Sweaty Jackson? Please share that story. I want to follow Anthony Hopkins, bro.
I don't remember. Was it because of what was it? Think One, right?
Yeah.
And was it in the restaurant?
Yeah. The bar.
I didn't call you that on screen though, did I?
No. You called me afterwards. When you realized I was cool, I could take a joke.
Right, because Sam Jackson was so sweaty in A Time to Kill.
He sweated that whole movie.
He was sweaty that whole movie. He was so greasy in that movie. And we called him Sweaty Jackson. And you told everybody up front, like, I tend to sweat when I get nervous.
When I get nervous?
And I think you actually said perspire.
No, I said sweat. I sweat. Okay.
And it just came out, man.
Oh, it was. Here's what happened. What happened. I'm a little claustrophobic, so they put me in between. I think I wasn't next to you when I got called Sweaty Jackson. I was between Romney and I don't know if it was Jerry or Terrence. Might have been Jerry, but I had the collared shirt on and nothing underneath it. And I knew when I put the collared shirt on, I go, oh, this ain't vibing with my body type. And it just, I could feel it. And I was like, oh my God, it's coming. And Mike, the funny part was I peeled up out of the stool to lean into my line, and it was just like a back sweat everywhere. To the point where I literally heard Tim's story go, oh shit. And so here's what they do. I'm sweating, I'm hot. You know how we fix this? We put a jacket on Gary. Let's make him hotter.
Let's make him hotter.
But it covered the sweat.
Covered the sweat.
Thank God I got to know you guys. So I probably was a little nervous because it was our first day where all six of us was back and forth in a tight compartment. And it really is like a dance. You're dancing with your partners.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'm probably a little nervous. And then like you, I didn't want to mess up. And I'm just like, and plus y'all got to realize as a comedian, we're also looking at the scene like, dude, how can I make this funnier? Right. So your brain is like working extra.
Right.
You know?
And you guys are used to working solo.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you guys are just used to just being it, working stuff out by yourself. That it's got to be kind of strange to like compromise or collaborate, so to speak.
And also with Think Like a Man is, Bennett doesn't really attack people. Mm-hmm. Me as a comedian, I go for the jugular when I'm coming at you, where Bennett was more like, no, you just don't know any better.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was also peel back. But yeah, I was probably a little nervous, but it was another level of sweat that particular day.
Yeah.
That I don't think I've lived down since. Because Think Like a Man 2, I was fine. I wasn't too sweaty. What?
Yeah.
Was I?
You didn't sweat in Hawaii at all.
Nah. I was comfortable.
How cold that water was?
Oh, yeah. I was actually comfortable. I was very,
Right.
very comfortable.
Yeah, I figured that cold water would have been good for you.
Yeah. That was a little nerves. I got to admit, looking back on it 11 years later, yeah, it was there. But it was also, it was hot in there because once they turned off the AC and everything around you and put me in a suit, I was like, oh, shit. I'm used to being in T-shirts. This is different. So
There was
a
no
little bit of
heat
both.
like the heat in Vegas on Think 2.
Which I was enjoying because I was like, everybody's sweating.
Yes.
It ain't just me.
Everybody was perspiring, for sure.
Yeah.
Even at night.
It was
Even at
hotter
night.
at night sometimes.
Hot at night.
Yeah. It was definitely hot. But listen, Mike, I don't want to take up all your lockdown pandemic time. I know you got to get back to the kids. But do you have a release date for Fatale?
June 19th. June 19th until, the government
Hopefully.
and the theater. Well, if the theaters are open, maybe June 19th.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
June 19th.
Hillary Swank, Michael
Yeah.
Ealy. But I want to thank my first guest, aka Third Choice, for
My
coming
man.
on the podcast, man. And hey, man, I'm just say hello to the wife and kids, and
I will.
I'll see you when all this is over with. Because you guys still invited me over for dinner, but every time I call, it's like you guys aren't ready. I don't get it.
We'll
but
get
it's
it
fine.
together, man.
Yeah.
We'll have you over. I promise, man. Like there won't be a pandemic excuse ever used again. It'll be something else.
Well, here's what's funny. I told your wife that I kept waiting. I said, man, your wife on social media, she's making all these healthy dishes and shit. I go, dude, every time. Side note before we sign off, this is the first time I've talked to Mike and hung out with him for an hour and a half that I'm not pissy drunk either words. Mike has an ability that when I'm with him, I just end up fucked up. Like it was like 4 times in a row, including Hawaii, which was not the plan.
Yeah.
So I appreciate having a sober night with Ealy.
A sober night. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I told his wife, I go, dude, every time I see you, you talk about going out to eat, but you be making all these healthy dishes. And then she was like, well, next time you're in LA, we're having you over for dinner. I said, cool. It was like the next week. What up? You and your wife was like, oh shit, you're serious. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm
No,
serious.
it's not a good time. Not a good time.
No. I don't know what excuse you gave me. Oh, it's leap year. I meant a non-leap year. Yeah. So no problem, Mike. Yeah, you didn't know it's February 29th? Okay, got it. So all right, man. Well, say hi to the wife and kids, man. I appreciate you coming on the first episode, man. And all jokes aside, you were the first person I called. So I really appreciate you coming on the first episode with me. The return.
Thanks for having me, G, man. This was fun, man. Good luck with this show, man. This is gonna be a wild one.